Hey guys, Comet here. Welcome to Captain of Industry Update 3. This is a game I've kind of been playing off and on in the background. Made a few videos on it, but nothing too major. So I want to try doing a full playthrough. Not too sure what I'll be calling this series yet, but let's jump into a new game. Now New Haven is the starting map. Dragontail Isle is the new one. It's a very large map. Armageddon is still the biggest. And there's been a lot of updates, like Curl Land looks really new now, and You Shall Not Pass has different terraces. But I'm actually going to be playing on the Golden Peak. I think this map could be quite enjoyable. Then we'll do Captain difficulty. I don't think there's any point in changing this. And I'll do Realism and Realism++. All of these settings look good to me. And then, what should we do for a name? How about the Resourceful Archipelago? And I'll just re-roll the seed here a few times. You can copy that if you want it. Alright, let's get into the game. Alright, immediately pause the game. Let's take a look at what's around us. So we've got iron here, sand, limestone, coal, and then the copper is way over here on this little terrace. So the first thing I like to do is plan out some roads. So I don't want to build on this area. And then I don't want to build on this area here. I'll have a central road going up this way. And then to get over to the iron, I'll put a road here. Double check the layers. So yeah, that doesn't get into any of the iron. I don't like the placement of the settlement, so I'm actually going to move it to be more in line with my grid along here. Only need 2 for now. It's gonna need a temporary food market. I'll set that to potatoes. The research labs could just go right over here is fine. I'll get 4 down, pause 2. Power, I can just sneak right in here for now. Only need 1 running. So now the blast furnaces. I like to put them right over here. So I plan on using a little bit of space here for buckets. So I need some space for those and then conveyor belts as well. And I like to share the smokestack. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Then it's 2 metal casters per blast furnace. And that's going to come out 3 tiles. Because I need space, 2 for the elevator, and then the third one will be kind of like the manifold area here. I'll copy that to this side. And then down the middle will be the molten channel. Just like that. And I only need half of it running. Eventually, there will be another one, and then copper, copper, and then we'll get into steel over here. So I'm just kind of planning everything out so I can see how things are going to fit together. Now, the farm, that is going to go right up against the road here, but we're going to eat into this mountain a little bit. It's going to come across right here. And that will give me enough space to put in 1 farm with like a central conveyor belt, and then another set of farms here with some space for another road along here to segregate the housing from the farms. But I can't put the farm here with trees in the way, so let's get these out of the way. coal maker is going to go right next to this guy. And for research, before the labs are even built, I'm going to set construction into maintenance, into the beacon. I want to increase my population as quickly as possible. Then I'll go into the trading dock, and then vehicles. Then after that, probably concrete. We'll need to buffer some water from the rainwater harvesters using the fluid storage, so we'll have to go into basic diesel. And then after that, maybe all the way to blueprints. And construction 2. At this point, we won't have enough construction parts to actually rebuild the ship, so I'm not going to worry about ship dock repair. I can go to advanced concrete, and then conveyor lifts, and transport balancing. And that should be probably further than I can even get into in this first episode. Okay, but I think I can set the trucks loose now. Yes, okay, thank you. Go away. Let's bump up the speed. Tree harvester has no truck assigned. Yeah, we don't care about that yet. Another thing I like to do is disable partially loaded trucks and disallow all dumping except for what I specifically dictate in the mine control tower. Okay, now that these two are built, I want to delete this, and because this is set to potatoes, they will get teleported from here into here. And as soon as that happens, I need to pause these two settlements to force the people to follow the food. Okay, pause those. The starving warnings go away. And now I can delete this. It won't let me delete this because this is still attached. But as soon as that is completely disassembled, I can delete that. Let's go ahead and get some trucks on him now. And the next set of houses will go... Let me pause the game. I don't want them to build this yet. It's going to go here, here, and then across this way. Then I'll do one here, and then I'll have space in the center for one of the decorative tiles. But this food market is in the way, so we're going to move it one more time over to here. And I can also put in the waste collection place. Don't need these to be built yet. I'm going to set this to potatoes and do the same thing, kick them out from here into there. Alright, and that was just construction. And these are going to go in this area here, but I want some space for storage. And then copper is actually going to be a little bit bigger. It has 2 extra steps, or 1 extra step, but there's 2 of them because it's double-sided. And then the storage will be there. So it looks like right about this level, I'll have enough space. And I want to save some space over on this side for all of the materials to flow down. This will act kind of like as the main bus here. But I want to set these to allow import and export. And I'm just going to pause them. I'll copy that, paste it here. So now this is just kind of like a generic building. The spacing between them will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that gives enough space for an output along here. And then an input manifold with space for an elevator. And nothing should clash. So now I can copy this entire section, paste it down, to about here. So it will be construction parts, then mechanical parts, then I want electronics, then after that will be construction parts 2, construction parts 3, probably vehicle parts, and then science can be down on these last few down here. So I will copy this over there. I'll copy this over here, that to there, and unpause only 3 of these. I can't support the 4th one. I can't make enough iron with just 1 slice of this. Once I upgrade this to be both sides, then I can unpause this and start making some gears. But 1 coal maker is only enough to feed 1 blast furnace. Now I could get 2 coal makers in, but then I'm limited by how much wood I can collect. And I want to use construction parts very sparingly in the beginning. So I'll let them keep working here. And now that that is built, I can get this out of the road. Dumping waste. I don't care. Go away. I will collect my reward, though. Maintenance. Okay, that's another milestone. Now, the maintenance depot requires mechanical parts and electronics. And both of those parts will be available at this point in the bus. So it'll be in line with the input to these. But I want to have some space for some storage. So I'm going to come out 5 tiles and then another 5. And I'll put in 2 here just to be safe. Maybe allow that. And this is kind of important, so I'll put this on like a priority of 2. Alright, there's construction parts. Now, we need to build another assembly to produce mechanical parts. I already have that planned out here. And the beacon, alright. That is going to go just over here. And I always want someone working this, unless I pause it myself. Because refugees will bring in copper and diesel. And so if I can manage those 2 items by just allowing more people in, then I don't have to build the infrastructure for them quite as early. Which allows me to get better infrastructure going for more base components like construction parts. Alright, but while I was talking, 2 things happened. Got a reward here, and the trading dock, which is I'm going to put just over here is fine. The vehicles and mining is about to finish here, so I'm going to unpause. I think this one's the one I'm going to use for vehicle parts. Get it ready so I can immediately set it to vehicle parts as soon as this research is done. It's going to complain. And there it is. Now I can set this to vehicle parts. And I'll put in a vehicle depot just over by the labs here. Now, the order I want to build stuff in here is another tree harvester. I'll need another truck. Then I'll go into excavators, 2 trucks, excavator, 3 trucks, excavator, 1, 2, 3, 4 trucks. And that will be 1 excavator for coal, 1 for iron, and 1 for limestone. And the game kind of tells you to go towards iron first, but I think that's a mistake. I think going towards coal first is actually better, because you can always trade wood for iron with this trade here. Alright, and there's our first set of refugees. So they bring copper, rubber, and some other stuff. Alright, it looks like there is just enough space for me to get this farm in place now. I want to come over one tile from that road and then down 2. So that will allow me to run water and fertilizer stacked on top of each other, and I can run food out this way. Then I'll plan on getting a second farm right about here. And I've got one space for the belts, and then I have space here for the elevators to connect in. And that leaves just enough space for a road through here. And I can put in some storage bins here without conflicting with the road. These will be set to potatoes, and this one will actually auto set once this pushes all the waste into there. But I want trucks to keep this relatively full, and I don't want them to import here. I want to force them to use the buckets instead of the building. Alright, and I also have the rainwater harvesters now. So these are going to go right along here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one will fit just before that tree there. That's going to be fed directly into a kiln, but I don't have the fluid storage yet. So I need to wait for basic diesel to finish. Alright, there's the fluid storage. This will fit nicely right in here. And I can just run a manifold line across here. The kiln will go here, and I can double it on this side. Connect those up. But I only need half of it built. I'll collect that. You and you. Then maybe I'll just get in some storage here. Don't need it built yet though. Set it to concrete. For now, importing and exporting. Oh, and we have our first excavator. So I'll go to the terraforming tab here. I need to get in an ore sorter and 2 mine control towers. I want to make sure they won't collide with the farms. Kind of need these trees to just get out of the way so I can put in some temporary farms as placeholders. And then put in the placeholder farms. Just so I can figure out the spacing here. Okay, so I can fit 5 across here. Tree harvesters have no trees to harvest again. I can just get this out of the way. I don't want any of those. Back to terraforming. I want this structure to be right up against the farms here. And if I look at the layers, yeah, the coal is not quite touching this, so we should be fine there. Now this one, let's add an excavator and some trucks. Don't care about those. The area is going to be like this, all the way over to here. And the excavator that was assigned to it is going to prioritize coal. So let's just dig in right into here. Now this second tower is going to be for the limestone. So something right about there should be fine. Go ahead and assign a truck and two, well, one excavator and two trucks. And you will prioritize limestone. Now I'm just going to come across here at height 14, like that. Now I did unlock the captain's office, which I usually put in this area here. But I need some placeholders. This is where I'm going to store excess wood. And then the captain's office goes right up against that. This will allow me to turn on increased food consumption for more Unity. And then I can spend that Unity to reduce my diesel consumption. Not enough housing. I guess they haven't finished this yet. But that is because we are not making construction parts fast enough, because we're not making iron fast enough, because we're not making coal fast enough, because we're not digging up coal yet. Alright, and this needs some assignments. Coal, dirt, rock. Probably be digging up some sand, and then of course limestone. And it's going to be upset about this because limestone is not assigned to an output. And I'm also going to turn off the auto-assign products, that way in case a truck comes along with something that's not one of these items, it won't automatically just add it. That was annoying. It took me a while to figure out why stuff like that was happening. Now this final excavator here is going to go and work on the iron. So I'm going to need an ore sorting plant here, along with a mine control tower. And this area will be maybe something like that. And I'll just dig straight in. This will be set to dirt, iron, and rock. I don't think anything else will be delivered here. Okay, and they finished this now, which gives me this reward, vehicle parts. And that can be spent on these trucks now, because things are getting a little busy. But we've got a lot of coal, so I can unpause that half and get rid of the coal maker. That will double our iron production. And now that I notice I've accumulated a lot of potatoes, I'm going to see if I can do a potato trade. Or a potato loan. 450. Now I want to take loans for things that I have a lot of, just to increase my credit score, because I know I'll be able to pay it back. So I'm going to borrow. And then let's check on trees. I have 1,000. Okay, let's go ahead and take that one as well. And then immediately use those trees to trade for bricks and iron scrap. Okay, and I got another reward while I wasn't paying attention. Now it wants me to build a unit storage and assign it iron, and then do the same thing for construction parts. So let's go ahead and do that. Iron is going to be here. Construction parts will be here. And it's actually going to loop back around with a belt this way. And that's going to be the same for all of these. And it just barely squeaks in there as planned. I'll set this to iron and construction parts. Now I can unpause those. That, and then actually I'm going to unpause a few of these and set them to wood. That way the tree harvesters have somewhere to put the wood, rather than just sitting there doing nothing. I'll queue up some more vehicles here. I do want another excavator to clear out this. I want to extend this road over this way to this, which has a lot of quartz on it. That's going to take a while to get there. But I can square off this here and then use this inner area for dumping, dirt, rock, whatever I don't need. I'm probably going to get the sand from this pile, not this pile. I could always dig this out later if I absolutely have to, but that's way in the future. Now, I do have assembly Mark IIs now. Those require construction parts too. It's tempting to start making those, but I really have to get copper in place and get the foundation built before going into more advanced tech. Otherwise, you run into bottlenecking problems and things just really spiral out of control. This is one of the few games where you can kind of back yourself into a corner that you can't get out of. So focusing on fundamentals in the order that you're supposed to is really important. I can, however, start replenishing some of the electronics that I am using, just to make sure maintenance doesn't halt. Alright, I just got advanced concrete, and they just finished building this. I need to clear out a lot of these trees before I can put in an advanced concrete plant. But I've noticed waste is becoming a problem, so I'm going to solve that like I do most of my problems and just delay it. But the only thing that's really going to trip me up now is diesel. Once I can get my own diesel being made, the threat of a death spiral is pretty low. I'll mark out a few more places where I want to put farms, because these trees are almost out of the way. And then there's a diesel patch, or rather a crude oil patch right here. So I'll be tapping into that. And that'll probably be the last thing I get done in this episode. I'll save copper and construction parts too for the next episode. Oh, this is gone now, so I can fit in a couple more of these. Get vehicles made a little more quickly. Not that I have anything really queued up. Alright, and the last of the trees are out of the way here. Last farm is going in place there. Can't quite fit the last one here because of the sand. But let's get these tree harvesters clearing out this space. I want to double the rainwater harvesters, but these trees are in the way. Now, back to diesel. First, we have to get it out of the ground using the pumps, and that goes into a basic distiller. Now, I have noticed some of the numbers are different, but the ratio is still the same. It's 3 pumps to 1 distiller. And I want to leave space for a manifold and elevators, so I'll come out 3 tiles right here. So that's 1, 2, 3. Now this is actually going to be doubled. And I want it to go as far up and to the left as I can get it, without running into the farm that I want to put in here once I convert this sand to dirt. Which looks like is going to be right about on that chunk border. So right there, all of the pumps are green. Get in some smokestacks. And I will consolidate the diesel in the center. Just like this. Now the wastewater, that's actually going to come up this way, out over here. Yeah, and then I'll run it along here and dump it into the ocean. I'll do a second buffer before putting in the new power location. I want to save some space for a coal elevator, because I think the best place for the coal might be here. Then I can run a belt, over that way, and then a belt over this way to plug into those. But the coal going up to the north we'll go into the rubber maker. I'm going to put it right here. So it has room for the manifold, and then 2 tiles for the elevator. And then I'll run them off of this pipe. Probably get in a second one. Now, these diesel generators take 3 every 60, and the basic pipe can only do 60 every 60. So I should theoretically have enough throughput for 10 generators. So I'll get all of this piping in place. I want to buffer the rubber probably here. So I'm going to put in a placeholder so that the piping jumps correctly. Go up like that to here, and then it can, not too worried about how this goes. Yep, that looks good to me. That can go into there. Then I'll get rid of the placeholders, and everything should be fine. Now, the hard part here, finding a valid location for this liquid dump. Now, this location works, but the pipe on... Oh, well, I guess it does work. I got lucky. It's really hard to find a spot that allows the pipe and the dump to work together. So like here, the dump fits, but the piping doesn't. And I want it to be pretty close to in line with that if I can. So maybe about here should work. And I know I can connect in there, so I'm going to get rid of that. And run this along this way. I want to maintain the height of the pipe and minimize the amount of pillars. That way trucks can more easily get around. And then after about there, I don't really care anymore. Just, sure, that works. Now, I don't want trucks using this. I want it to be done strictly by pipes. And I'll set that to wastewater. And let the trucks get busy. I only need half of this running for now, so I'll do that half. Because once I complete this, it'll give me more parts through these goals, and then I can use those parts to finish off the second half. I have to make sure I keep up with these trades. As soon as they get cheap again, I want to immediately execute them. Because I've noticed we are full of slag, so I can't even process iron from here. I have to use the scrap iron. So what am I going to do with the slag for now? I didn't really think that through, did I? I could make a ramp up to this area. I could just dump it in the ocean by this beach. I'm not too sure yet. I don't think I have a good spot for it. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do something like this. I'll let the trucks just fill up this area with garbage. And potentially literal garbage. But that will require a mine control tower. So let's allow the dumping of waste and slag. I'll probably dig this up later. Oh, and I just got 2 achievements. Or goals. Because slag I can turn into concrete, waste I could always burn later on. I'm really particular about what I dump into the ocean. I hate dumping dirt. I really want to use it for topsoil. And I like to border my dump areas with stone, because it has the least amount of... It has the steepest slope. Things don't flow very nicely. So I do like a border of stone, and then I can dump slag and waste in the middle. And then I like to save my dirt for the topsoil to go over it at the end. I suppose I should also allow the dumping of dirt here too then. Since this and this are complaining. And I'm full again. Okay, let's unpause that. Yeah, the trucks are going to be a little busy for a while they get caught up on emptying these. But this is starting to work now. Producing our own diesel. All I have to do is dump the wastewater and I should get this goal. Now, power is becoming a problem. Okay, I need this to finish. And these to finish. I'll end up moving these permanently over to here. 7 and 8. There we go. Beautiful. Alright, generators are in place. I can remove this. Tree harvester has no trees to harvest. I can easily fix that. You guys can get busy just doing all of that. Not enough housing. Yep, that's getting finished, and ore sorting plant blocked. Yeah, the trucks will slowly get busy on that. And what I can actually do is unassign and then reassign, and the dirt just teleports into the shipyard, and it doesn't cost any unity. So I don't even have to dump the dirt. I feel like that should at least cost some unity. But this guy's been sitting here for a while not doing anything. So I think I will get that excavator going over here. And I want it to focus on clearing out this space here. It's time for another wood trade. Let's check our loans. Nah, I can't do very many potatoes, and I can't do very much wood. Alright, I'll come back to the loans in probably the next episode. I think I got done everything I wanted to get done. Got a nice settlement established here. Farms are all planned out. Some decent industry is going. Starting to capture some rain. Gonna punch through this mountain here. And I'm making my own diesel now. So I'll probably let the trucks run in between episodes just to get caught up on some of these tasks, clearing out the dirt from the ore sorting plants. But that'll be it for this episode. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, and I will see you in the next episode where we get into copper.